Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about dealing with a narcissistic person in a court of law. And for those of you who are watching this, you have either possibly been through the process, about to start the process, or going through the process of a court with a narcissistic person. And one thing that most people will recognise if you are or have been through this is that narcissistic people do not abide by court orders. They feel entitled to do as they please. They believe that the rules do not apply to them. Those who you take non-molestation orders and restraining orders out against, those who you need those protective orders to protect you from them, are the very people who are going to ignore those orders because they feel entitled to do as they please. They don't believe that people should be in control of them. They believe that they are in control of other people, and they will find a way to rationalize and justify why it's acceptable for them to continuously break and breach orders. They will find loopholes in the order that they can work around so that they don't get penalized for breaching the order. They will twist it to blame the other party. They will do all they can to not respect a court order. When it comes to going to court against a narcissistic person, you might be going for the reason to protect yourself from them. You might be taking them to protect yourself from them. You might be going to try and arrange childcare with them. It's not going to work without a court order. With a narcissistic person, childcare arrangements will not work with a court order. They're just going to drag you through the court for many years to come. You might be going to get a divorce, or they might be continually taking you. When it comes to court and a narcissistic person, you have to play the long game that they're playing with you, because they're looking to get you to back down. And once you do back down, they're going to make your life more miserable than it is going to court with them. A narcissistic person will make the divorce last longer than the marriage. They'll leave out information. They'll fail to turn up for things. And it's very frustrating because the court seems to give them chance after chance and they just seemingly get away with it. Yet when you are ill and can't go, you get reprimanded for it. Narcissistic people in that courtroom, they can put on that charismatic charm and sell themselves to everybody in the courtroom of what a genuine, nice, caring person they are. And they can go all out to provoke you, to get you to react, so that they can smear you in the courtroom and claim that you're the one that's unhinged, you're the one that can't control your emotions. Because those in the courtroom don't have the full background. They just see what they see in that moment. So you have to have a good hold of your emotions before you go into a courtroom with a narcissistic person. If a narcissistic person believes they're going to be found out or caught out, even though they believe that you're the one that's in the wrong, if they believe that other people are going to side with you because of the lies you're making up, the pictures that you've doctored, because they genuinely believe they're innocent, you're coming in with the truth and genuine things. To a narcissist, you're a liar. So to a narcissist, they're not going to admit that they've done these things to you. They're going to claim that you're making stuff up. However, if they believe that the stuff that they did to you, that they're claiming you made up, is going to paint them in enough of a negative light that they're going to be exposed, they might just start playing nice. They might start being really, really nice and friendly. Whatever they want, whatever they need, whatever makes them happy, whatever makes them feel safe, whatever makes them feel secure. because they're not interested in whatever makes you whatever. They're interested in looking good in the courtroom. And then once out of the courtroom, they'll revert back to treating you terribly again. So when it comes to dealing with a narcissistic person in court, for the majority of people, you've got to recognise this isn't a short-term thing. You are going to have to play the long game. Narcissistic people are incredibly competitive. They do not like to lose. And if they lose, they keep finding other avenues to take you back to court, to try and get one over on you. So you've got to stand firm in your beliefs. You've got to stand firm in the outcome that you're actually aiming for. And you've got to hold on to the hope that if the narcissistic person does take you enough times, or you have to take them enough times, eventually the court will see from the past history, the repeat patterns of behaviour, exactly what that narcissistic person is doing and exactly what they're capable of. As they tend to have ways to breach court orders through the loopholes, yet the authorities don't seem to be able to do anything about this. However, one thing is the authorities do begin to see that the narcissistic person believes that they are above the law, and they start to take a dislike to that narcissistic person, and they start to see which person is telling the truth, and they start to do everything in their power that they can to help you. And as frustrating as it is, the way narcissistic people work it's not that easy for people to help you. And so what can you do when dealing with a narcissistic person in court? One of the first things you can do is be prepared. The old saying, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. So be prepared. Arrive early. If at all possible, have someone for moral support. And if you can, have a separate waiting area. Because if you don't, a narcissistic person will try to provoke you outside. They might come and sit next to you and start chatting about the good times to get you to feel bad for taking them to court. They might bring a new supply to trigger those emotions within you. They're going to go all out to try and trigger you before you even walk through the door of the courtroom. So when you are waiting, try to get a separate waiting area. When in the courtroom, don't diagnose. Don't start calling them narcissistic or sociopaths or psychopaths or anything like that. Do not diagnose. Describe their behaviour. And if at all possible, describe behaviour that's been repeated over times. So if you're going for childcare and they fail to show up for their children, especially if you've got messages to match, show how many times they said they would be there and then failed to turn up. And the repeat pattern of this. Describe their behaviour. If they are stalking you, describe the amount of times. Don't say they're stalking me. Just say they were at my work then, and then they were at my home, and then on that day they were at my work, and then on that day they were at my home, and describe that repeat pattern. Have evidence, potential witnesses if you can. Driving past your work is a one-off. They can come out with something random. I was just going here. It's a coincidence. You need to show that it's not a coincidence. It's a pattern of behaviour, or that they could take a different route, even a shorter route to what they claimed they had to drive past you. In the divorce, stick to what is rightfully yours and let them have what is rightfully theirs. Stick to what is rightfully yours and show why it is rightfully yours. Refresh your memory on the manipulation tactics that they're going to try and use so you don't fall for them in the courtroom. They're going to look to wind you up. They're going to look to get you going. Don't give it to them. This causes a narcissistic injury, and they are likely then to rage out in the room at you and show themselves for who they are. Know their Achilles heel. So narcissistic people fear exposure. So if you can go in with facts and evidence, they're going to go all out to talk themselves out of it. And most judges, if you've got facts and evidence, will see through the narcissist's lies. Or if you have enough, that might be enough to put the narcissist off going against you in a court of law. They might agree to the order, however they will most likely breach the order, to which you must take them back every time they breach the order, because it builds up that pattern of behaviour. The courts can't help you if they can't recognise the pattern. Narcissistic people fear being ignored. Ignore them in the courtroom. Direct all your answers, all your questions to the authorities in the courtroom. Answer to all the court officials. Do not give eye contact to the narcissistic person. And if you do have a representative in the court with you, if you have a solicitor or a lawyer, make sure they don't make eye contact or direct anything to the narcissistic person. Don't give them the attention that they feel like they're entitled to. And just be honest. When you're honest, you don't forget the lines. It is difficult to remember when you're a survivor. Sometimes we can minimalise things because we've had it drilled into us by a narcissistic person to minimalise things. Just stick to telling the truth that you know to be true. Remember to give the narcissistic person nothing, because when you give a narcissistic person nothing, most of them in that courtroom will show themselves for who they truly are. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Make sure you're getting time away from the court process to enjoy life, to have that balance so it doesn't sink your mental health too much. Try and get the support that you need. If anyone has anything that helped them through a court process with a narcissistic person, please do add those into the comments to help those reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.